Welcome to the very first podcast for E-Academy 7th grade World History. We have a very distinguished panel with us today. Some of the Enlightenment philosophers are here to answer some of the callers' questions.
Well, at least people who know about Enlightenment philosophers.
Yeah.
Those guys are dead.
They're dead, but you guys have been miraculously recreated and brought here to go ahead and answer some very important questions from our callers. Okay. Let's see. Mr. Who are you, Paul?
Montesquieu.
You're Montesquieu? Mr. Montesquieu, I want my children to learn to be enlightened, this caller says. What do you believe to be the best form of education? And what would be the most important subjects for your children, for this caller's children to study? What do you believe is the best form of education? Mr. Jefferson believes in homeschooling. And what else did you say? What subjects, Mr. Jefferson, are the most important subjects that you believe children should study?
Math and science and English.
Math, science, and English. So, Mr. Montesquieu, do you have any opinion on education as an Enlightenment philosopher?
No, but I believe that education should ought to be in relation to the principles of government.
Education should be based upon the principles of government. Okay, and that is true. That children and our young people need to know the importance of government and how the best way to structure government, because it affects our lives implicitly. Okay. Can I please see your placards so I can call upon you based upon who's calling in? Okay. Mr. Locke, Mr. John Locke, thank you and welcome to the show. What do you believe to be the best form of education, and what subjects should my children, this caller's children, study?
I believe that moral education is the best education, so that's other than above all the other ones, so English, history.
So children should learn to study about morality, doing the correct thing, the right thing. Any particular subjects besides morality?
English and history.
Okay. Any other philosophers want to chip in and give their opinion as to what... Mr. Franklin, did you have anything about education that you wanted to share with us?
No.
Not really? What do you think that would be the most important subjects for students to study about through the Enlightenment period?
Well, for sure, English.
Mr. Franklin, you were quite interested in science yourself, were you not? Didn't you fly a kite with a key attached to it so it could be struck by lightning so you could discern electricity? Mr. Descartes, do you believe that mathematics would probably be the most important thing?
Yes.
Yes, because you as a mathematician,
Yes.
yes, most important. I like your, calls in and says, I like your economic ideas about getting rid of mercantilism, buying and selling. But I'm worried that this will weaken my country. I don't want to be susceptible to be taken over by some other country. I want our country to be strong. Do you have any ideas about how this country's economic system should be structured?
If I could just chip in, I believe we should have a very strong, very balanced for everyone economic system.
So probably like capitalism? Like people work,
yeah, maybe.
free market. The labor that you put forth, you should be able to, after you pay your taxes, to keep most of your profit. Yeah?
It's kind of what I believe in.
Okay. Mr. Montesquieu, a person wrote in and said, my neighbor killed my son, and I want my neighbor to die as well. I understand that you philosophers are against capital punishment. Where can we meet? How do you feel about capital punishment, Mr. Franklin? Are you for it or against it? Not quite sure?
And this is what happens. L-U-E curse.
Mr. Jefferson, how do you feel? What are your opinions on capital punishment?
I think
Are you for it or are you against it?
I'm kind of against it.
You're against it, why?
Because I think it's
This caller's son was killed by his neighbor, by his negligence. His gun just charged and struck and killed his son. Should eye for an eye? If we're going to talk about morality and fairness, shouldn't this person be put to death as well?
I think so, but I also think that it's also kind of wrong because I agree with that. I think he should be punished, but since it was an accident, I think he shouldn't be killed. I think he should just have.
What if it was malicious? What if he was actually angry at that?
Then I think it would be okay to kill him.
So you, as a philosopher in the Enlightenment period, you would be somewhat pro capital punishment. What about you, Mr. Montesquieu? Do you have any opinion on crime and capital punishment?
I believe that crime is forbidden by God. And it should not happen. But even if it does happen, the person committing the crime has to be treated fairly with respect.
Okay.
If I could just chip in, I think that crime as well as war are both going against natural law.
You think crime and war violate natural law?
Yep, that's not exactly what you're supposed to do. I mean, natural law, you're just basically given resources and you're not technically supposed to violate them.
Okay, so what about this man that called in and his son was killed by the neighbor? Do you feel that neighbor should be punished with put to death? He took that young man's life. Do you think the punishment would fit that crime of being also put to death himself?
I think that's slightly too harsh, but I don't know.
You're not sure.
Yeah, just
Mr. Franklin, did you get anything on capital punishment or crime? Mr. Franklin, what would you like to share with us about your opinion just on anything with the Enlightenment? What do you have? Anything of interest that you'd like to, from your notes, that you'd like to share with us about what you think on a particular subject? Anything? You're not sure? Mr. Descartes, what would you like to share with us? No comment on the Enlightenment? What are your beliefs? What do you hold dear? What do you feel so profoundly about? Utilizing the scientific method to discern the answers to life's questions? Yes? What else? What would you like to share with us? Don't be shy. Mr. Rousseau, what would you like to share with us? Anything?
well, going back to that whole natural law thing, did I not mention that?
You did.
Then, hold on, give me a minute.
Okay, I'll go to your placard.
Yeah, please stand by while I just get my information together.
John Locke, what would you like to share with us from your Enlightenment philosophy, since you seem to be so profound and we're going to base our whole new Declaration of Independence and subsequently our Constitution on many of your findings. So what is your opinion on women? Do you have any thoughts?
I don't believe that women should have a lot of rights. They should, basically the same as it is right now.
What do you mean? Women shouldn't be involved in government and shouldn't be involved in
Yes.
making decisions about how their home is run and
Why?
how the money's spent? Why is that?
Ooh.
Because women
Miss-
are...
Mr. Locke, you said people are born with inalienable rights. Natural law. How can you exclude the other half of the world? Is that truly how you feel? You're enlightened, remember? You've seen the light. You know what's up. Mr. Jefferson. Mr. Jefferson? What is your opinion on war in the military?
I think that war, I quoted this,
Uh-huh.
the greatest scourge of mankind.
Oh, war
That
is.
it only should be done when it needs to be done. It shouldn't be done just for, I mean, it should only happen if the times are desperate.
If it's absolutely necessary. Not just to acquire some new territory or to access somebody else's surplus. Okay. Before we wrap up the show, does anybody have any parting comments they'd like to share? Anything that they found so profound and interesting that they'd like to put to the world? John Locke, what would you like to share?
Oh, I finally found something.
Okay, one thing. John Locke and then you.
I
Just-
think, personally,
Just 1 second.
I was just kidding about the women. I think they should have a lot of rights and they should hold important status.
Okay. So you are an enlightened
Yes,
philosopher.
and
Okay,
You
so
are
you
a
have determined that. Okay, Zach, or
this is kind of going back to a
Mr.
point we kind of talked about the educational system before. I think that the educational system should make sure to respect people, like don't teach anything that could possibly offend anyone. But other than that, I'm pretty much all done.
thank you, Mr.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Rousseau. Okay, and Mr. Jefferson, you had a last comment.
Yeah, I like the Republican form of government. I like how they can make their own decisions. So, that's my favorite kind of government.
Okay, because you are enlightened. You are a philosopher. Okay, awesome.
I also another quote, but whatever.